we're rounding into the holidays here, and for the most part, that means most of, not all of, but most of the developmental teams for Warzone and Modern Warfare 3 have now gone home for the holidays. They'll be back at the turn of the new year, but that begs the question, what can we look forward to seeing in the next update for Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone? Today we're taking a look at the gameplay changes you can likely expect within the first update or updates of 2024, whether it's a genuine title update, likely not until the Reloaded update, or perhaps just a playlist update of sorts along with the launch of the upcoming Vortex event. Today we're taking a look at what's on deck in the new year. As we go along, drop your thoughts down below. What fix or change are you hoping to see? What have we mentioned do you like? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts. If you enjoyed the video, you find it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing to stay there with all things Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone as we go into 2024. If you're part of that 60% of viewers who are not subscribed, I'd love to have you in the community. And finally, check out my friends over at Gamer Advantage for 35% off your entire order of the best blue light glasses on the market with code Espresso, but more on that a little later. For now, let's jump into the changes that you should know about in the next Modern Warfare 3 and Warzone updates. As a disclaimer here, first and foremost, some of these may have been fixed in the last few days. I'm currently out for the holidays now and won't be back at my desk until the 26th at the earliest. We'll see how we're feeling after the holiday here, see if I want to decompress a bit more. But the videos you're seeing today through Christmas and up until then, all are made in advance. So as of recording this, at least, everything mentioned has been marked as for the next update. But I do suppose it's possible that maybe one or two of these things may be fixed out in the meantime. Apologies if that's the case, but hopefully understand. Firstly, on the Modern Warfare 3 side of things, we have a couple of different technical things that need to be changed, some bug fixes and stuff coming along with that, such as the Jack Beholder rifle kit, the week 3 weekly reward for the tier that does not progress and unlock even if you do complete the said 5 challenges from multiplayer, zombies, or battle royale. That's obviously something that you'll want to be able to use that, so that should be hopefully a hotfix issue that if there's much of anything that I would say could happen first and foremost, that's probably one of those things here. The no stock attachment for the XRK Stalker sniper rifle also cannot be unlocked. That's a fix that should be coming in that next update. Again, possibly sooner if they do have the ability to end up dropping that Jack Beholder rifle kit and they fix to that progression. Wouldn't be surprised if you could end up seeing that happen with the no stock as well. Royalty Tiger is brighter than intended in some conditions and will be adjusted here in the next update. That camo that was a very limited run, I honestly think there's probably only a couple of hundred, couple of thousand of them maybe out there, but that was something that honestly may not affect you in the slightest. It's in that special category, so if you don't have it, it's not really a fix or change that you may be bothered by. The priceless camo challenge, though, for the Stormender does not properly track as well, and a fix for this will also then probably attack some of the progression updates across the board for camo challenges. That's usually something that happens when one fix comes in. It usually targets and sees what may not have been tracking properly for even just a small subset of players. That should, in theory, also fix those as well. But on the off chance, sometimes it also causes new tracking issues, so be aware of that as well. And then also that field of view bug in Modern Warfare 3 has persisted across the board for multiplayer, zombies, and also I think Warzone as well, but just talking more so on the Modern Warfare 3 side of things before we jump into Warzone. For zombies, though, the visual bug with the akimbo weapons should be fixed. The bug where players are losing their contents of the acquisition stashes after exfil should be fixed out. That's obviously a big one. You don't want to lose, even though it's only like 10 slots, and I think there should be more slots available to store your items. Anything that you come out of and have the ability to store shouldn't be lost, obviously. There's also the inability to complete the Defeat Sakayev Act 3 story mission that should be fixed. And then there should be a hopeful fix coming for the infinite floating bug where you're just stuck looking at Urzikstan after exfil. That's one that's popped back up, I've seen in reports from players, but also was there in DMZ throughout Modern Warfare 2's year of support. So it seems like it's one of those issues that has popped back up because it is built on the same architecture as DMZ that was fixed at one point, but seems to now be back within Modern Warfare 3. But Warzone, well, that's where we can talk about some of the big things coming in the next update that aren't necessarily so much technical aspects or bug fixes. Actually, some are, but they're actual game-breaking things. But anyways, let's jump into it. Firstly, the big ones, the likely reintroduction and balancing of the snake shot ammunition on the tier in public playlists, as well as the Maelstrom dual trigger attachment on the Lockwood 300 shotgun. Both of these still currently are visible in the gunsmith, but they're disabled in-game, so you won't actually get any of the benefits that come along with them when you're playing. If I can say before we move on to the other items of adjustment and changes in the next update for Warzone, firstly, thank you. I think this is how things should be dealt with when they're genuine problems. Not in the cases of like, oh, this weapon's performing slightly better than intended. It's the weapon that everybody's using right now, but there's still some alternatives. You just might be at a slight disadvantage. I'm talking like literally broken things. This is textbook, I think, how you deal with community feedback and adjust accordingly. I get it if you liked the shotgun or you like the snake shots. I did too. They objectively were broken and they were a lot of fun because of that. But you should not have a one pop pistol akimbo set that has a longer range than an SMG that takes 10 bullets to kill. You should not have a shotgun that can one-shot down players from the range that it did and at 300 HP. They were fun to play with when you were getting free kills, absolutely. Hell, I'll admit that I had a blast playing with them, but you absolutely cannot look at me with a straight face and be like, those weren't broken. They were entirely broken. This entire past year of Warzone 2 and Modern Warfare 2's year of support, there are so many things that were broken and then just there was no fix for them for at least like a month. I don't know if you forgot already or not by now, but last year, the only updates we got outside of the launch window were seasonal updates and season reloaded updates. There were like maybe 1 to 2 exceptions of that, but 6 seasons, we had maybe like 14 title updates. So if something was broken, it wasn't going to be fixed until at least a month later. Like you could notice this the day of the update going out and then be like, well, guess Warzone or Modern Warfare 3 is kind of chalked for at least a month. And again, that was at the earliest. There are multiple things that were broken that did not get fixed in the very next update, but instead lasted 1 or 2 seasons after the initial problem was introduced, some not even fixed. The best examples I can think of were Bird's Eye at the beginning of the year. That was genuinely a broken perk, and to their credit, it was removed, if I'm not mistaken, off the perk package list for a bit of the base default ones, because at the beginning, if you guys remember, you could not actually customize your perk packages. But it was removed off that perk package list in the ones available for the default loadouts. But if I remember correctly, the big thing that then became a problem was that players then somehow got access to customizable perk packages, which again, at the beginning of the year was not a thing. Eventually it was, but some players, not all players, had the ability to customize their perk packages. So some people could put that Bird's Eye perk on their custom perk packages, whereas other players just didn't even have the option to access the perk at all. And at that point, well, it was even bugged further because the UAV of any player, not just your team, pinged in that advanced UAV style, as it normally does, but again, giving you any UAV coverage. So a double whammy on what was broken. This was what I'm pretty sure was that bug that a studio executive we've talked about before said they weren't aware of it, despite it being the most persisting bug for a whole month and the most advertised bug out there at the beginning of the game. But I'm gonna refrain from getting frustrated. We're not gonna relive that conversation and tell that story again. But another one was the Revive pistol. Great gameplay addition, I thought. Honestly, I love being able to save my teammates from just shooting them from afar with that and getting them back up if needed, but halfway through the year, it created this bug where if it was in your inventory, you would end up skipping your down state if you were downed and just die automatically. Whether you had a self-revive or you had squad mates up, it didn't matter. You just died. That lasted for 3.5 seasons, to the point where I'm pretty sure it was still busted up until the launch of Warzone as we have now, before it was just removed entirely out of the loot pool. All you had to do was remove those and fix them. Balance them in the back end, but don't let them persist in the public playlists. It's not like those were associated with skins or anything where people could have bought that. Maybe sure it would have gotten legal involved, but like when you have a game-breaking problem, remove it from the game. That's the easiest way to get rid of that problem so players don't have to suffer while you work on a fix in the background. So sorry, didn't mean to go off on a tangent or anything here at this, but like that is how I think these changes for these big things that are game breaking should have been handled. And it looks like maybe going into the future here, we're going to see that handled now as such, which is a huge win, I think. Anyways, getting off on a tangent there, apologies for that. We'll also see additional fixes for crashes and stability. There's animation bugs perpetually plating when down that should be fixed. There's a resupply bug where you'll resupply the wrong items. That should be fixed. There should be a fix for notifications for redeploys not playing consistently, which is a huge one, and very thankful if the fix does come in with that. The breacher drone does more damage than intended. That should be fixed out. The gulag tokens not turning into cash when the gulag closes should be fixed. We should, in theory, also return see dead silence return likely. That was removed as the other attachment types were here that we just mentioned because there was a bug with dead silence. There still should be a fix inbound for that dead silence HUD element despite not being active. I think that I've noticed this mostly whenever I'm on zip lines. I don't know if that's the like 100% surefire trigger for why that happens, but I've noticed it here and there. that after I do, that's when I see that effect still on screen. Armor plates, they're investigating an issue where armor plates equipped in the Gulag will not transfer back to the real match. That should be fixed out. And on the larger scale items, the precision airstrike notification, that should have some fix here to it, though honestly, while that's mentioned, I don't know that I'm that hopeful for it because it's been now 3.5, almost 4 years since Warzone launched, and the precision airstrikes still have that issue where notifications don't appear. For me, honestly, I think the easiest way to mitigate this was, I don't know, why not just have a ring of where the danger close zone is where it's called in? I mean, mortars have it. Why can't precision airstrikes? I feel like that mitigates so much of the potential issues and complaints players would have about not getting that pop-up banner ribbon, because maybe I wouldn't get that notification normally because I was out of the zone, but maybe I run into it, and that's where it's the, again, part where I'm like, I didn't get a notification. What the hell, Call of Duty? I wouldn't know unless I saw where that zone was, if it was something that was user error or something that was on the game's end. And sure, maybe that's a part of the streak's benefit, if you want to call it that, but is it? I don't think it'd be too much of a nerf to the streak, nearly as much as people would counter saying that it would be. That's just me, though. Anyways, on the smaller side of things here, we will also see fixes to the Resurgence rotation UI on the menus, showing proper and accurate locations of where you're ending up dropping into for that rotation. The fixes for calling cards being improperly displayed on the after-action report, and fixes for private matches having a rejoin feature that actually properly functions. All in all, pretty good stuff, I think, should be coming in the next updates here, and I'm all for that. Obviously, things like weapon balancing and stuff like that can happen, but in terms of stuff that is confirmed, or at least talked about, this is what we know of for sure. Weapon balancing, it could be anything. They could end up, for some reason, deciding to buff the M4 or the HCR from Modern Warfare 2 and nerfing, like, the longbow. Stuff that people don't really use, they could do it. So sure, some of this stuff is more just, like, technical end, but this is the stuff we know about and what we can look forward to in the new year. So that is where we're gonna wrap it up. But before we wrap everything up entirely, make sure to check out my friends over at Gamer Advantage again. Site-wide 25% off discount here where code Espresso can stack to give you 35% off your entire order. One of the best discounts of the year so far, but if you guys want to check it out, what I firmly believe are the best blue light glasses there, now's as best a time as any. I've worked with these guys for nearly 3 years now. Can't recommend them enough. The most lightweight, comfortable, and durable frames that I've used, and I personally think they've helped my daily productivity. Full transparency, yes, they are a bit of an investment, but I do think that your vision is absolutely worth investing into, especially if you're like me and looking at a monitor, phone, or gaming for a good chunk of the day. If you guys would like to learn more, at the very least, I'd recommend checking out their site where they can break down the science, the specifics, all that stuff way better than I ever could, but I can personally recommend them. I've used them for that entire time I've been partnered. So if you guys want to learn more, check the link in the description below. And if you'd like to pick something up for yourself, use code Espresso to get 35% off your entire order. With that said, that's where we're going to wrap it up. So let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of these changes? Like them, dislike them, think there's enough? Would there be something you'd add to the list? Whatever the case, drop your thoughts. But if you enjoyed the video, you found it at all insightful, do me a favor and drop a like on it. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss a single thing running all things Modern Warfare 3, Warzone, and other FPS content here in the channel. I'd love to have you in the community. For now, thanks so much for watching. Mine has been Espresso. I'll see you later. Take care and peace.